In this video, I'll reveal the fastest way ever to recover from a ligament sprain, and I'll share exactly how I healed mine in less than 3 days when Google and ChatGPT said it would take 1 to 2 weeks. My name is Shayaan, and on this channel I help athletes elevate their health and become injury-free. So today I'll be answering the question, can you heal a sprained ligament in 24 hours? Any kind of sprain, whether it's a knee sprain, elbow sprain, ankle sprain, wrist sprain, toe sprain, whatever kind of sprain you can think of. The short answer is it depends. Now I want to disappoint you, so I'll say it, yes, it is possible to recover from a ligament sprain in 24 hours. And the long answer is that's what we're trying to find out. And by the way, if you're wondering why I'm wearing blue light glasses in the morning, that's because there's a giant fluorescent light right in front of my face. So a sprain is an injury to the ligament. And a ligament is what connects bones to bones. This you can see here in red color, those are the ligaments. And before I tell you how you need to recover, you need to understand that there's 3 types of ligament sprains: grade 1 strains, grade 2, and grade 3 ligament sprains. I said strain, I meant sprain. Grade 1 sprains is where a ligament is slightly stretched, but it's still extremely painful. If you've had a grade 1 sprain, you probably can't even walk. Grade 2 sprains are partially torn ligaments. Grade 3 sprain is where the ligament is fully torn. And to heal a ligament in 24 hours, it needs to be a grade 1 sprain. Unfortunately, you can't heal a grade 2 and grade 3 sprain in 24 hours. So let's get into how I recovered from a toe sprain in less than 3 days. This is me. I was working out in the street, ran to get my water bottle and stubbed my toe on the ground. So yeah, let's get into the video. And before we get into the steps that you need to take, let me tell you that the last 3 steps are literally the most important, and whatever you do, even if you do all the steps in the middle, 3 to 7, you do it perfectly, it's just not going to work unless you do the last 3 steps. So keep watching till the end, because otherwise this video is going to do nothing. Part 1, Unlearning. If you don't know what on earth this means, I don't know either. Step 1, forget about the injury. Constantly thinking and worrying about the injury makes it worse and slows down recovery. It's obvious. By thinking about the pain and worrying about it, you're training your mind to feel the pain more often, more frequently, and more intensely. So the mind thinks that the problem is bigger than it actually is. Proceed with the recovery process with positive emotions only. That means no negative associations with the pain, no complaining, no feeling sorry for yourself. Just observe and say that you're injured and this is what you need to do to fix it. Step 2, forget about RICE protocol. Now this is another really important piece of misinformation that you need to forget. You need to unlearn this. Rest, ice, compression, elevation. When you go to the doctor or whoever with an injury, the first thing that they tell you to do is ice. They tell you to rest for 3 days, don't play, rest till it goes away, do nothing, and ice. Rest, ice, compression, elevation does not help recovery. It has been scientifically proven by multiple studies that it does not help recovery. Yes, it relieves pain. Yes, it decreases inflammation and swelling, but it slows down the recovery process rather than increase or accelerate it. If you don't believe me, Dr. Gabe Merkins, the man who invented the RICE protocol, itself later came out in 2013 and said that he was wrong. And it's better to do the things that this guy, Shayaan, is about to tell you to do. So you better do the things in part 2, blood flow. The following 4 steps are about improving blood flow to the ligament. Why do we need more blood flow in the injury site? 2 reasons. Blood flow helps deliver healing elements, particularly oxygen and nutrients, to the injury site. It helps remove metabolic waste such as carbon dioxide and debris from the injuries. And these 2 steps are the reasons, these 2 reasons are why the steps that I will mention in this part are going to work. Step 3, movement. Movement improves blood flow and pumps more synovial fluid into the joint. Synovial fluid is a kind of fluid that exists in joints because ligaments don't really have a rich blood supply. This synovial fluid is what helps deliver the nutrients and flush out waste from ligaments more than blood itself. But it's related. Move the joint as much as possible after injury. Immediately after injury, just try to move the joint as much as possible. That's gonna improve healing, accelerate it. And it's really important to move in the pain-free range. This is really important. I highlighted it in red. Sorry, highlighted in red because if you move to the point that it creates pain, that means you're injuring it more. You're causing more damage, which increases the time that you need to recover. So do it in the pain-free range. And immediately after my toe sprain, I tried moving it as much as possible in the pain-free range. And that's one of the things that helped me recover so fast. Step 4, strengthening. Do bodyweight strengthening exercises to strengthen the joint. Now, when a ligament is injured, obviously it's going to be weaker than it was before because it's injured. So you need to strengthen it. And one of the more important things that strengthening does is it improves blood flow to the muscles or structures in use. If you're doing strength exercises such as step-ups for the knees, it's going to improve blood flow to the knees, which improves the rate of healing in the knees. For example, you can do tibialis raises and soleus raises if you have an ankle sprain. Those are examples for strengthening the ankle joint. And this guy here is doing seated calf raises, which is equivalent to the soleus raises. Example 2, backward sled for knee sprain. If you have a knee sprain, this is the number one exercise for any type of knee injury from what I've experienced. It's credit to knees over toes guy. 3 sets of each, 20 to 30 reps, except the backward sled in the pain-free range. Again, pain-free range. I cannot emphasize the importance of this enough. If you push through pain, you're going to do more harm than good. Step 5, heat. This is a house on fire. Heat brings in more blood flow via vasodilation. And if you went to school, you would know what vasodilation is. Helps muscles relax, reduces stiffness, and relieves pain. These are all things that heat does. You can use a hot water or hot pack to apply heat to the injured area. Don't use microwaves to heat the hot pack. And by the way, I forgot to mention, for strengthening my toe, there's no specific exercise such as squats for the toe. So what I did was press the toe on the ground, which strengthened the ligament. So with heat, you can use hot water. That's what I did. I immersed my toe in a container of hot water, not boiling water. You don't want to cook yourself. And don't use microwaves. Because if you use a microwave, the hot pack absorbs the toxic microwaves from the microwave oven and re-emits it back to your body, so you get exposed to radiation. It's not ionizing radiation, but microwave radiation is still really bad for you. You want to do this 3 times a day, 10 to 20 minutes per session, if you want to heal in 24 hours. Otherwise, 1 to 2 sessions are fine. Maybe you can even go for 4 times a day. I did this twice the day after I got injured. So that's one of the reasons why I didn't actually heal in 24 hours. I didn't try hard enough because there was no urgency, because I had like 48 hours till the next football training session. I train, of course, every day. Step 6, Voodoo Flossing. And I'm talking about this type of Voodoo Flossing and not this type of Voodoo. And funnily enough, this is actually named after Voodoo Black Magic because of how miraculously and how immediately it takes away the pain. If you don't have a Voodoo Flossing band and you're someone who gets injured frequently, I recommend that you get a Voodoo Flossing band, because this is something that really helps take your recovery to the next level. To connect with blood flow, Voodoo Flossing induces a compression and release effect in which bad blood is pushed out and good blood flows in. Dormant, deoxygenated blood filled with waste is pushed out with the compression, and on comes a flood of fresh oxygenated blood after the band is taken off. And how this really works, this is also something that works, but how this mechanism really works is through something called fascial shear. Fascia is a type of connective tissue that wraps around everything inside your body. And shear, if you studied physics, you would know that a shear force is an imbalanced force on an object. This is an example of a shear force. This is your leg, and the band creates an imbalanced force on both of the sides of your leg or wherever you wrap the joint in. So this actually shifts the tension which is causing pain and shifts it somewhere else, so the pain disappears. Works like magic. I highly recommend that you get a Voodoo Flossing band, but be careful, because if you wrap the band around wrong, it can cause serious injury. Just don't have the band on for more than 2 minutes and wrap it around 50% tension and 50% overlap. Part 3, health. This is something that's really incredible. the beach and the ocean. Step 7. Walk barefoot where the waves meet the shore. This is the part where the magic lies in. Not in the ocean, but we'll get there too. Not on the beach near the trees, but where the waves meet the shore. I don't know why, I don't know the exact scientific reason, but somehow that accelerates healing far more than walking anywhere else. 15 to 30 minutes a day, 3 times a day, if you want to heal in 24 hours. Otherwise, once or twice a day is fine. One in the morning, once in the evening. And the ocean has magical healing properties. The ocean allows more movement without pain. If you've ever had an injury and took a dip in the ocean, you'll understand this. And as I mentioned before, in step 3, movement, the more you move the joint, the faster it heals. And if there's no beach near your area, don't worry. You can walk barefoot on grass, especially on wet grass. Water, for some reason, improves healing. Or you can go to a lake or river. I live in the Maldives, so there's the beach everywhere. Maybe you're not as lucky, so you need to find alternatives. These are some alternatives. This is a video I recorded exactly 24 hours. Not exactly, 27 hours after my injury.
Is my foot. You can see that I can move it around pretty comfortably without any pain. And my toe has been healed. It's like a miracle, isn't it?
And if you did the things that I told you, maybe a miracle would happen for you too. And these are the most important, but sadly also the most neglected part of your recovery. Sleep. Your body heals most in sleep. This is undoubtedly the most important thing you could do to your recovery. Get enough sleep. 7.5 to 9 hours is enough for most people. Understand how much you need and sleep that much. Step 9, nutrition. Avoid processed foods, preservatives, seed oils, foods with pesticides, refined carbohydrates, and sugar. These toxic foods slows down healing a lot, more than you realize. So, eat real natural foods, meat, eggs, raw dairy, fruits, honey, etc., which nourish the body and promotes healing rather than what slows it down. And these two, I don't care how much you do the rest of the steps 3 to 7, if you don't do these 2 steps, forget it. You're just not going to heal. And there's a third one too. Be functional. If you're not functional, just forget it. Your body won't function the way it's supposed to. It's not going to heal the way it's supposed to heal. If you're not functional, you're not going to recover fast. Biomechanical functionality is how well the human body moves and serves its purpose. If you're dysfunctional, it's not going to serve its purpose, and it's not going to know how to heal properly. That's why it's so important to be functional. If you're dysfunctional, fix yourself first. And to fix yourself, watch this video because it will help explain exactly what you need to do to fix yourself.